Hey everybody. So today I wanted to do a video on something that I think I was very wrong about. I'm 30 now. I've been in business for myself in this specific field for 10 years, and I was in business in other fields prior to that. So I've been around long enough at this point that I can look back on the horizon and I can see a lot of areas where I made critical decisions or I decided to go in one direction versus another direction, or I thought one thing was true and I was kind of waiting to figure out how it would pan out. I can kind of look and see how those things panned out, and I can kind of get an idea as to whether or not my predictions or my ideas were correct or incorrect. I'd like to start doing this more often because while I think there are many things I'm right on, there are also many things that I'm wrong on, and I think you may learn something by seeing what it was that I was wrong about. So today's video is going to be on iCracked. Now, I think that I have a similar sensitivity to a certain type of company culture that Eli, the computer guy, has. And I've been asking him to do a video on this because he has so many great examples of a Silicon Valley company making a stupid financial decision, a stupid social decision, a stupid business decision. But it's 56 minutes into a 2-hour video, and that he winds up erasing or unlisting after a few days. I want him to do a video that's nothing but just chalkboard marker going through all the things that a lot of the over the past 10 years that have been ridiculous from Silicon Valley startups, particularly the more popular tech-oriented ones. But one of the areas that I think we're both sensitive on are these companies that they focus on everything besides net profit. They focus on the gross sales. They focus on traction, collisions, disruption, all this hipster, hippie, pie-in-the-sky shit before they actually focus on net profit. I focus on net profit because I started with $260. So that means that at the end of each month, I need to have taken in more than I paid, because if I don't, then I can't pay my rent, my electric bill, my gas bill, and I'm screwed. So I've always been particularly sensitive to net profit, and I think that net profit is a fairly good way of telling whether or not a business is sustainable. You can have businesses that have a lot of investment money, but having investment money does not mean that your idea is good, nor does it mean that what it is you're selling is a product that is sustainable to sell. Sustainable to sell meaning that people regularly want it. It is something that can be produced for an amount of resources or money that is at the very least equal to, if not less than, what people are willing to pay for it. And I think if you run a company that consistently does not make a net profit, that there's a good likelihood that you're doing something wrong, or you're mismanaging resources, or you're simply not providing what you should be providing. That being said, I would look at companies like iCracked, and every now and then I would look at it and I would see they got this much in funding, they got this much in funding, this much in funding, this much in funding. And I would always kind of wonder, is that really profitable? Because I wouldn't find that impressive. If you told me this company started here and now their net profit is over here, that is something I could find somewhat impressive. But one thing that really drove me nuts about tech press, business press, mostly startup press, is that they would focus on everything besides net profit. Net profit was always at the back of the bus, the part of the discussion that we're not going to have right now. And this bothered me, not because you're telling new entrepreneurs that net profit, that actually making money at the end of the day is not what matters, that making sustainable business decisions is not what matters. And I remember reading this one article that I just remember made me lose my shit, which was iCracked technicians have made $6 million this year. I read this article and I damn near lost my shit, because when it said iCracked technicians have made $6 million this year, you have an article that's really, you got like 3 or 4 paragraphs here, and TechCrunch, and TechCrunch is, again, it's another one of those hippie startups that most likely is not focused on net profit. I read that, and then what I did is I looked for the amount of iTechs that they had. I divided the amount of money they made by the amount of iTechs that they had, and my math came out to that they were bragging about the fact that the average income of their technicians was $6,000 a year. 1/2 to 1/3 what it was that I made 14 years ago, minimum wage, part-time, working at Model Sporting Goods, putting price tags on basketballs. So I made a video on that, and it was quite critical. I remember I made this video about 3 or 4 in the morning. This video is about 5 years old now, and it has aged terribly. And when I say it's aged terribly, it's because everything I'm talking about in the video is the exact opposite of what occurred. I was talking about the fact that I thought that they were going to go out of business. It's like Groupon or Living Social or any of these other companies where it's just, net profit. Who cares about that? We just got to add users. We got to add buzz. We got to make the website look fancy and have nice offices and blah, blah, blah. I thought that they were going to go that way because you're bragging about the fact, if you're bragging about, not just saying, but bragging that your employees are making $6,000 a year, that's bad. I mean, you should be hiding that, in my opinion, not promoting it. A lot of my criticism was not simply of the lack of net profit. It was not simply a criticism made for those numerical figures. A lot of that criticism that I made also came out of this Frank Grimes, Homer Simpson thing I got going on in my head, where at some point, Frank Grimes, you know, the guy that's smart, hardworking, shows up early, stays late, is just sick and tired of the fact that he has to date Selma, whereas Homer has the hot wife, the genius daughter, the good job that pays better money than his when he's a complete idiot and he's fat and he's stupid and he's a jackass to people. Now, I realized, I had to start asking myself, how did I get this so wrong? And the way I got it wrong was I really focused on the startup culture? Was I really focused on how much I disliked startup culture? Was I really focused on the fact that I cared about net profit or people learning how to start sustainable businesses? Kind of, but not really. I was focused on being aggravated that people were going to read things like this and think that this is the way to start to become successful. Become just good enough in your field that you can barely replace an iPhone 3G screen, buy screens from Jack Telecom, sell them to people who don't feel comfortable coming up with their own customer acquisition path, and just sell some startup kit for $2,000, essentially to people who don't know any better. When you barely know much yourself, have a fancy schmancy website, have investment, and do well. I thought that was a bad thing. But in reality, that wasn't it. No, what was really pissing me off was, why is it that I'm sitting here working 12 to 16 hours a day, trying to become the best in my field, trying to learn all these things that none of these people know how to do, whereas I can't get any money and they can? At the end of the day, it was not simply concern for somebody else. And this is what I see when it comes to so much social justice nowadays, is you have people who will pretend that they care about someone else, when in reality, it's not that I care about you, it's that I hate you. But I can pretend that I hate you because I'm going to say that you did something bad to them, but in reality, I want to take out my disdain or my hatred on you. So for me, I grew up with no money. Most of the people who I had asked for assistance or a loan of any sort just laughed me out of their office. I got one person who was willing to loan me $7,000 at a decent interest rate and pay it back. But for the most part, there were no people saying, "No, here's $40,000, here's $1 million." So it aggravated me that I'm trying my best to figure out how to do what it is that I do, and that I'm going to then take this information that's very valuable and then share it with the world for free, yet I cannot get Chase Bank to give me a loan for 1/4 what is currently in my bank account. But these individuals and I have a company that has a net profit. I showcase that I'm a leader in my field. I tell people that, I tell everybody how to do what it is that I do, and we work on very difficult repairs that very few places are willing to take on. Yet, I just went to Chase Bank just a few weeks ago because I was talking about getting a new space. I mean, I can't get a business loan for even more than 20% of what is currently in my bank account. It's a total joke. Yet when it comes to a company like this that's run by what seemingly is a nice guy, seems like a nice guy, but he also strikes me as somebody who doesn't exactly know how to do much other than replace an iPhone 3G screen. It's oh yeah, just take $40,000. Oh yeah, just take a couple more $1,000s. Oh yeah, just take 5 or 6 figures in loans. Oh yeah, here's a 6 or 7 figure credit line. Just have it. Oh, what you don't make net profit? You're not profitable? Who cares? Just take it. So I would be sitting there as the Frank Grimes, looking at the Homer Simpson with little steam coming out of my head, and that's resentment. So I was allowing resentment to cloud my judgment. Perhaps there was something that they were doing that I was not doing, and perhaps they're doing things correctly. Because as I sit here today, I'm reading the news, and I get to see that AllState has purchased iCracked, and we don't know exactly how much they have spent, but AllState had, I believe, they joined SquareTrade, and SquareTrade was acquired by AllState for $1.4 billion. So if AllState is making acquisitions at the $1.4 billion level in the repair and insurance industry, it's likely that iCracked was acquired for, at the absolute minimum, I would guess, say 7 figures. So iCracked, the company that I thought was going to go out of business, the company that I thought was just relying on branding and not having a lot of knowledge and kind of pulling the wool over the eyes of people who could just put up their own Craigslist ad rather than give them $2,000 to become a technician. The company that I thought did not have a sustainable business model based on the numbers that I read, actually wound up doing very well for themselves. So I looked at this, again, I made my video, I was snarky, I was very snarky, I was an asshole, and I laughed at it. But at the end of the day, who's laughing? Me, not able to get a loan for even a quarter of what's in my business bank account, with a wall that I have not even had time to paint because I've been working 12 to 16 hours a day every day just to keep up, or the individual who is now a multi-millionaire whose company was acquired by AllState. And if I were to guess who are laughing now, he's probably watching this video just laughing his ass off. And he has every right to laugh his ass off because my criticisms were most likely unfounded. My predictions were incorrect. And the reason my predictions were incorrect was because I was more focused on jealousy and resentment for the fact that I perceived that somebody else had an easier life path than me, than I was focused on what I could have been doing better. So if I had put the effort or the thinking into, what can I do with my business to get people to actually be interested in investing money in me? I was focused on going, fuck it, the world is unfair. I show a net profit. I show growth. I show sustainability. I show knowledge. The world doesn't care. The world is, fuck that, dude. That's a very poisonous mindset. I've talked about it being a very poisonous mindset in many other videos. I've talked about how, and I talked about in this video, how I think, again, a lot of social justice nowadays is not just I want to help the oppressed, but I want an excuse, a legit excuse that I can use without people figuring out my true intentions to hate these people. And perhaps, if I look back, again, it's 5 years ago, perhaps in what was going through my head was not, I don't like unsustainable business models, but rather I was using the whole, I want to criticize the fact that unsustainable business models are being promoted as a means to legitimize my resentment or my jealousy towards an individual who seemed like they had an easy ride that was not available to me. Well, this person had it easy. The world is unfair. The world is corrupt. There's nothing I can do. Rather than assuming the world is corrupt, maybe I should simply assume that the world can be stupid. And that if I can put effort in, then instead of trying to climb up somebody else's ladder to success, which is not left for me, I can create my own. And that's one of the beautiful parts about being a human on planet Earth in today's day and age, is that if I try to climb somebody else's ladder, and I fail because the owner of that company was climbing a ladder that was only present for him, or that he burned behind him as he climbed up it, I may not be able to climb your ladder, but I can make my own ladder. And had I been focusing more on creating my own ladder, had I focused more on becoming successful in my own way, rather than trying to follow what somebody else did, and then stop once it fails for me by saying it's unfair, I may have gotten a lot further in life than where I got. Life is not fair. The world is not fair, and the world is likely never going to be fair. But even though it's unfair, that doesn't mean that pursuing what it is you want to pursue and achieving what it is you want to achieve is impossible. You're simply going to have to get out of your mind the idea that I am going to follow somebody else's ladder to success. I may not have these same avenues available to me. Even being in business as long as I have at this point, even with all of the information that I have shared, even with all of the people that have sent, like Tim and Tony, and all the people that have sent me pictures of stores that they've created, that they are funding solely off of knowledge that I've shared, that doesn't mean that I get to climb somebody else's ladder. I have to make my own ladder. And I was not focused on making my own ladder for that period of time. Typically, I am focused on making my own ladder. But in this one small area, I got a blind spot. And that blind spot was created by envy, aggravation, and resentment. And that doesn't do you any good. And that's not right. And the thing is, you have to check yourself on stuff like this. And very often, if you have friends in your life who are going to be, say, oh, you're doing a good job, or oh, you're doing, a lot of friends are not going to be honest with you and tell you when you're fucking up. There's a very small number of people who are good enough as a human being to completely dress you down and tell you you're running your business like shit. You could be doing much better. Why are you not on this person's level? Why are you not on that person's level? Why are you not going for what it is they're going for? Stop making fucking excuses. Very few people are willing to do that. So since there's not people to check you on it, it's really easy to not just lie to others, but to lie to yourself. And I believe at this time that when I was talking about iCracked and I was criticizing iCracked in this video and other videos I had done on iCracked, I believe that I was not criticizing them from a place of actually wanting to inform people, but I was rather criticizing them from a place of, just fuck you, you easy life having asshole who just has money handed to him like it grows on trees. when I work 12 to 16 hours a day, have permanent bags under my eyes, try to revolutionize my industry, and I can't get shit. F you. Again, that's a effing poisonous mindset. I've talked about how this is a very poisonous mindset. I'll link to videos below where I talk about this poisonous mindset. And I'm not preaching this poisonous mindset to you because I wasn't preaching that to you just to try to tell you that I'm better than you, but rather because I have actually lived that, and you can see the effect it has, and I can see the effects that it's had on my on the decisions that I've made, on the judgments that I've made, and on my life. And it's very difficult to escape this because it's one of those things where your brain is going to convince you that what you're doing for a good reason. And you really got to check yourself every time. Am I really being nice here? Am I really doing something altruistic? Or is there an ulterior motive? What is that ulterior motive? Let me explore that. Let me assume that I have the capability to be an absolutely awful, miserable, evil human being. Because once you embrace the fact that you have the capability in you to be very, very evil, once you've become comfortable with it, once you understand that that potential exists, not that you are evil, but that the potential to be evil and awful and resentful and jealous and angry and exists, then you can kind of start comfortably exploring it and try to figure out where that exists, and then you can try to replace that with something that is actually productive. Perhaps if I had done that when I had made that video in 2012 and that other video in 2014, rather than sitting here at 3 a.m. In my unpainted store fixing the 25,000 Apple product for a repair video so that I can pay rent on a space that looks like shit and my apartment in a neighborhood where all the apartments kind of look like crap and there's a 25,000 watt light bulb on my block, because if you don't put the 25,000 watt light there, people will stab and shoot each other. I would be living somewhere else. I would perhaps be doing something else with my business. Perhaps I'd be on a yacht. Perhaps I'd be retired. Perhaps I would have opened up a franchise all across the country that teaches people how to do this rather than simply doing a YouTube channel. I don't know. I may have made it much further than I made it, but I limited myself. And the way that I limited myself is by telling myself three things. A, I should be proud of where I am relative to where I started, rather than just didn't create a goal and go for it. B, I let resentment affect my judgment. And C, I allowed myself to convince myself that the world is against me, and so even in some small way, shape, or form, because somebody else had an easier life or an easier ride through life, at least by my perception, than I had. So if I had corrected all of those things, perhaps I would have gotten much further. And the reason I'm saying this is because a lot of you think that I am a business success. You see that I have 12 employees. You see that for the last 10 years, I have not had to punch a clock at somebody else's business. You see that I seemingly can go on vacation as I choose and buy things that I want and that I have freedom. And that's great. I'm not going to say that I haven't hit that level. But at the same time, it's easy to get stuck into this place where you say, I started with nothing. My dad made crappy salaries for all of his life. My grandpa made no money his entire life. Nobody in my family was really educated or got far. So look at what I did. And I'm just going to stop here because, I got so far in contrast to where I came from. But that type of thinking is the very type of thinking that limits you from growing. What else could I have done? How many people could I have taught that I have not taught because I am not doing more with my life or more with my business as a result of being content where I am, because I have this thought in my head of, well, I started over here and I got so far from where I started that, that's enough, right? Because it's easy to do that. It's an easy ego boost to pat yourself on the back and go, man, considering what I went through, man, that's good. At any time you're going, considering what I went through, that's good. And you got to throw that shit out. You got to forget where you came from. You got to forget the troubles that you went through. You got to just toss all that shit out of your mind and stop looking at things and saying, well, this isn't the best, but I guess I should be happy. I should be happy with it because at least I'm semi-successful. You should just look at it as I'm doing good according to this goal. And then what you do is you say, I'm going to do something today that's better than what I did yesterday. Next year, I want to be better than where I was last year. Next decade, I want to be somewhere far ahead of where I am this decade. You don't do this bullshit where you say, I've gotten farther than where I was when I started, therefore I win. Don't limit yourself like that. So that's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. I'd like to continue this series where I go back through opinions that I had or predictions that I had made or rants that I had made over the past 10 years, and I look at them and I analyze and I really hone in on not only the things that I was very wrong on, but also why I think I was wrong so that maybe you can learn something from it. So I'll see you all in the next video.